One and recording. Okay,
We're live.
we're live. This should all be working. I'm tapping the microphone. Uh,
Yeah, we're live.
okay, good. All right, excellent. I
Give me a little microphone, you little
yeah
microphone. Let's treat
yeah.
this like a boom mic.
Is it tapping? Okay, good. All right, I think we're good here. Um, oh yeah. Okay, this is like no one's in the chat yet, right? Okay, so we're good. We can figure out how to make this all work. So that link though, the YouTube live is working, right?
Yes,
Okay.
we're working. It works.
A couple old timers, trying to figure out how to do all this stuff. It's like it's old hat for
Yeah.
some, but for you and me, this is new. This is new hat.
Yeah.
Where does old hat come from? I wonder. That's an interesting question.
Yes, hats grow old with time, I suppose it is. I will say, for anybody who tuned in for high production values and gleaming motion graphics,
Uh huh.
you will be disappointed.
Listen. We're figuring this out as we go. Okay, it's going to be a little bit of a learning curve here as we figure this out.
The treat for people tuning in now is that this is a rarity in which Josh and Brandon are recording live in the same room. Usually,
Sure.
we're recording remotely together.
That's very true.
I'm not used to being this close to Josh,
You
smelling
are
his smell.
used. You are used to it. Who you fooling? All right. Okay. I'm gonna say we are live on various platforms. Okay. So let's go ahead and do that. We
Yeah,
are live! Exclamation point. Tweet. Send.
yeah. So we're racking up the viewers. We're current.
Oh wow! What a flattering photo. I love. That's what a great screenshot of my
Yeah.
crummy beard.
Find
Yeah.
a co-host who looks at you like the way Josh looks at you during your YouTube live. We've got a big hey hello from Tim Hamer, Timbo, all the way from Australia. What time is it in Australia, Tim? Let us know
It's
in the
early,
chat.
early morning, right? This is early morning for Timbo. I feel like
Yeah, is Tim, what I want to know is Tim just coming from the outback or about to venture out into the outback?
steakhouse. He's about to have a bloomin' onion from Outback Steakhouse.
10:30 a.m. All right,
All right, I'm posting this. Yeah, again, we're troubleshooting. We're gonna figure this out
we
slowly.
will.
Exactly.
And I
Okay. Yeah.
just as an early tease to people coming in, we actually have some content prepared for you, and I am genuinely excited about this content.
Oh yeah, this is as our friend Dave said. This is what we call a remember some guys podcast.
Yeah.
Hey Eddie Gooner, big up from Jamaica. What's going
Jamaica.
on, man?
Yeah, you guys gave us a really good game in the first match of the Gold Cup.
Yeah.
It's great to
I
see.
felt bad. It's like as an American, I should have known more players in the Gold Cup. I feel like I could name like three starters
It's
from that
it's
team.
the MLS squad in the
Yeah.
Gold Cup right now, but Jamaica is stacked with Premier
Yeah.
League players with Mikel Antonio, Andre Gray made his
Yeah.
not Damari
Felt
Gray.
bad
I'm
for
sorry.
Antonio. I mean, Antonio, goes to Jamaica, joins the club, and they don't even make the World Cup. I feel like he kind of, he threw himself into it.
But he's playing.
Yeah.
You don't want to end up like Ivan Toney. I guess you could say Ivan Toney is on the cusp of making that
Yeah,
England
he's a
squad,
cusper.
and that's a success in its own right. Like nobody will come as close as Ivan Toney. So Mikel Antonio is at least getting international caps,
Yeah,
and
that's true.
I
That's
don't.
true.
What do we know about Mikel Antonio? He might have a true deep connection to Jamaica.
I don't think he does. I listen. There's nothing wrong with that, though.
No,
Listen,
yeah, yeah.
all of us
Mercenaries.
You get older and you realize, you know what? I may not be starter level
Yeah.
quality for England, right? I may not make $1 billion, right?
Yeah.
But if you get a chance to go play for a national team somewhere, you get to go play for Jamaica. To me, that's a win. You're still playing, World Cup qualifiers. That
Yeah.
feels like a win.
All right, we've got people in the chat just getting acquainted before we get into the content. I see you touching the object of our desire here, Josh. Eddie in Jamaica says we're gonna win the World Cup, bro. Let's see. I hope we play you again because that was a really great match. Andrew Brown, funny to see faces. It's true. Like we did some YouTube content during the World Cup
Yeah.
a few months back, and that was really the first time we showed our
That's true.
faces on YouTube. And this is our season of venturing into video content. It's
Yeah.
a pretty big learning curve, but also I think what people like about always cheating, Josh, is that We're just us. There's no artifice here. There's no.
True. I think I like it because it can be entertaining, occasionally when all the stars align.
Okay.
I think that we should offer some actual content here, though.
Let's do
because
it,
This
yeah.
is the whole reason that we're here is because I have acquired this. Okay.
Yes.
I want to make sure this shows up on the camera.
You've got a
feed here.
delay on the YouTube terminal here.
Okay.
You can
Yeah.
see.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Get
So
it
this-
real close up here.
Yeah, let's get it real close up here. This is a top Match Attax set, okay? This is from 2013-14, okay? I didn't even know that Premier League, what we call baseball cards here in the U.S. existed. But this is a set of Topps Match Attax from 10 years ago. So, Brandon, we're going to do what our friend Dave calls Let's Remember Some Guys, and we're going to
Let's do it.
open up some packs from this box. It's a box of 50 packs, okay? We're not going to do all 50 tonight, but let's do like maybe 5 apiece. Let's see how it goes.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
it becomes maybe a reoccurring feature thereabouts. But I'm curious to see what memories we have from FPL moments
Yes.
/ straight up regular Premier League moments.
We should start with the box. Can you name...
It's upside down.
Yeah, can you name everybody on this box here, Brandon? I see Eden Hazard.
Jack Wilshere, Yaya Toure, Robin Van Persie, Jermaine Defoe.
Wow, okay.
Keep turning.
Yep, keep turning. Okay, who else?
Eden Hazard, Jack Wilshere, Yaya Toure, Robin Van Persie,
It's
Jermaine
easy.
Defoe.
It's easy when it's the same players on both sides.
On top, most
of the-
importantly though, is Dimitar
Berbatov.
Berbatov, not in a Spurs kit or a United
Yeah.
kit, in a Fulham
Yeah.
Football Club kit
And these
right
guys
there.
have prices too, which is interesting. I have no idea what these prices are. I don't know if anybody has ever played the Match Attax game. I had never played it myself. This is like totally new to me. It's like Stratego or what is Stratego? What is the thing that people play? It's like the
Keep going.
It's like a game. It's like a virtual game. Some people are like champ manager.
Oh
Championship
yeah,
manager.
Football Manager.
Football Manager.
Yep.
Yeah, nobody in the U.S. has ever played this game. I don't think.
I
know it's a thing.
downloaded it to my
Yeah.
iPad. I got about 10 minutes into it. It was
Okay.
the most boring thing I've ever
Okay.
done in my life, unfortunately.
All right, so we're opening it up. On sale here.
Like,
Wow.
true unboxing.
I got a promo for the box that we just bought. So that's nice.
Name
Yeah.
some more guys.
Yeah.
Josh, you're up.
Oh, wow, I got David Silva, Oscar. Oh wow. So we're gonna blow it here though. Kyle Walker. Okay, so we got a lot of interesting players coming through this set. So let's start things off here. I'm gonna take a pack of cards.
All right.
Take a pack of cards.
Come on, baby.
I love
All
that
right.
sound.
Is
that
there
foil?
yeah.
That foil sound that we all love so much.
Bubble gum or no bubble gum?
Yeah. Oh wow! Now our good friend Mark is
Hey,
on.
Mark.
Okay, his worst ever FPL season. It might have been mine as well. Was that the year of SAS? I should have Googled this, or I should have looked this up on my
This
team.
was.
Because SAS was my worst year because I was stubborn and I refused to
Yeah.
double up on the
Stubborn
Liverpool
as
forward line.
You were stubborn as that was SAS, my
Yes.
friend.
Yeah, that was the year that Yaya Toure scored 20 goals as well. I think.
That's why he's on the box.
But I couldn't believe it. The whole year I was like a central midfielder cannot be. It's not sustainable. This cannot
Yeah.
keep happening, and of course he did.
All right, open the pack. Open
All right.
the pack.
All right, so we got our first pack here of Topps Match Attax. Okay, there's some kind of
That's like a Joker
I see they
card.
show you how to play the game here, which someone's got. Oh, how to play. Okay, so we'll
Come back to that.
yeah, we'll come back to that later.
Nobody reads
Boring.
instructions
No one
when
reads
they open up a
instructions
video game.
on a pack of
All right,
cards.
don't reveal. Hold it below
Okay.
the fold.
Okay,
here.
all right. Oh, I have a gold card here.
Ooh, it's a foil.
The first card is one of my favorite players from this era. Yeah, Mishu. I loved Mishu, Brandon. Mishu was a long favorite of mine.
Let's
I always
go, baby.
loved his old the can celebration.
Yeah,
You know?
Mitro does a version of that too. Yeah.
Yes, Mishu. What a great first card to start. I can't believe we're starting with Mishu because not only did Mishu have a great run at Swansea before it all ended,
He did.
But that was the era of the great Swansea kit as well. I remember Swansea had that beautiful
Your-
red and green
your favorite Christmas kit.
Mexican national team kit
Yep.
style kit. I love that kit. Wolves later on did a kit very similar to that, which I really loved. It was kind of like the Raul Jimenez tribute kit, I suppose. This is Mishu. He is rated at 9 million in this game.
Is this
We
like
have
the
no idea what that-
ITC
well,
index?
we saw Berbatov was at
Right.
7.5 on the set. So I guess 9 million means that this must have been Mishu's second. He's at 86 shoot, 79 skill, and 73 pass.
Okay.
So wow, yeah,
All
not
right.
not much, not a strong pass.
So what
for
we
this, for
what
this
we
game.
have is an actual Pokemon game in the making here. The rules actually state, you got to put. I can't see
Yeah,
putting Mishu up against Robin van Persie.
yeah.
It's not really a fair
Do you
fight
have any
there.
Mishu memories though?
I do. I remember my wife had left town, and it was one of those. If you were a spectator, it would be a sad sight, like fly on the wall,
Yeah,
man alone making scrambled eggs for the first time in 5 years.
yeah.
But I was doing it with gusto because had my iPad out and I was going to watch Mishu as my captain. And I don't remember who Swansea was playing, but I remember when Mishu scored his brace. Upon him scoring the brace, I put on a Rolling Stone song. I'm not going to remember it, but I just remember like it suddenly turned into
Painted black or something
it
like
turned
that. It
into
was like
risky business all of a sudden. I was sliding around my apartment in my skivvies with my scrambled eggs. So yeah, Mishu he's a golden child. I love him.
And Mark, by the way, does confirm that this was the season when Torre got the goals. And didn't we used to have a joke about Yaya Torre that every time Yaya Torre scored a goal, it looked he was injured. He was like every time he scored a goal, he fell over on his back and like couldn't get up. It was like the weirdest. He never scored standing up.
Either he scored falling down or it was a free. But he lumbered up to it, and it was the most nonchalant, greatest goal you've ever seen.
But a 20-goal season from a box-to-box player is incredible.
What a wonderful
season.
Could
we see that from Mason Mount or I don't know,
possibly?
Yeah, who else could? What are the other box-to-box guy? I mean, Declan Rice could.
The big Zabowski.
The big
Zabowski.
Zabowski. I don't think he's going to play enough. I think that's the problem with him.
All
right. Who got next? Next we have Josh Hoyveld from Southampton. 4.5 million. I have to admit, Brandon, do not remember this guy at all.
This is Ricky Lambert's season? Is this the promotion season for Southampton?
Luke Shaw, Ricky Lambert.
Lallana.
Who was Lallana? He was
Nathan
the other
Klein
guy.
as well. God, there were so many. I don't think Van Dijk had signed for Southampton at that point.
He might have. He signed like a couple weeks in, I think, that season. So, all right. So Josh Hoyveld, I have nothing.
Bye,
to say.
Felicia.
It was not Mishu levels. We had stories when it came to Mishu.
We came out hot there.
Okay, here we go. Ooh, Martin Olsen.
Oh,
okay,
brother.
Here's what I remember. Okay, here's why Martin Olsen is important.
Because he's still at Norwich.
Martin Olsen is important because he was part of a terrible a terrible Norwich City Norwich. I said Norwich. I can't believe I said that. A Norwich City defense and. Yeah. That defense was responsible for about 25 Luis Suarez goals. That's it. I don't know how. He only played them twice in the Premier League. I think he scored 13 goals in one match and 12 in the next. It was
Can
incredible.
you imagine being Ruddy in goal? It's just like it was a matter of fact that Suarez was going to score a hat trick.
Was it Rudd or Ruddy? I can't remember. Wasn't it Rudd and Ruddy? John Ruddy?
I think it was Ruddy, but funny you said Norwich because this is so many town names we have in America for any non-Americans watching this stream. We have a lot of town names from England, but we pronounce them in this very stubborn American way. There is a Norwich near where my house is in rural New York, and they all call it Norwich. So I have to code switch when I'm talking to my Premier League friends or when I'm at in my country estate.
There's a Versailles, Ohio, and that's a big one. America loves to bastardize. We love that. And
how many more cards do you have there?
I got two more here, and I like both these cards. I peeked.
Oh, no peeking. No peeking.
Well, it was a half peek. I didn't mean to peek. Next one is Nemanja Vidic.
Get that one right up in there.
Yeah, here, Vidic right up on the screen. There. You can see Vidic is rated at 6 million, so the defenders are rated a little bit lower in this game. So we have a 6 million Vidic, a 20 shoot. I guess Vidic was never much of a
shooter.
He was never much of a shooter, was he? He's got an 89 on tackle though, so that's good. I guess they weigh them. They weigh them more heavily.
Show this. Shoot. I just love how shoot is a category, not finishing or striking. Clearly going for a certain market here.
Yeah, exactly. So Vidic is Vidic is part of that kind of Chris Smalling. You have Nani. I was actually just talking about Nani yesterday because I was explaining. I met very randomly last night. I was telling you about this.
God help the
throw
person
him
you were
down
talking
there.
to.
I was talking to a guy who played minor league baseball for the Boston Red Sox. Very randomly, I was talking to a guy who played minor league baseball for the Red Sox, which is kind of the equivalent of playing for like a academy team or something like that, right, in the Premier League. And so we were talking. He played with Mookie Betts, actually, who's one of the best players in baseball right now. He plays for the Dodgers, so that was kind of cool. He had him in his phone. How do you like that?
Wow, did you call him? Did you FaceTime Mookie Betts?
I wish we had. I think he was playing, like literally. I think he hit a home run that exact day.
It's baseball.
Yeah.
He could take the call.
Yeah, exactly. So why did I bring that? Was that just me bragging? I feel like I had some reason for bringing it. Oh, right. When I was talking about 17, there aren't a lot of great 17s in the sport.
Yes.
In all sports.
I mean,
It's
Kevin
not
De
great.
Bruyne is immediately coming.
Well, I was going to say, as I said in soccer you have a few because you have De Bruyne and you have Nani. Because Nani was a great number 17, and he played during the Vidic era of Man United. So you had Vidic, Smalling, I think Phil Jones was there. He's still there. You know, he's been there for
just left
12
this
years.
season, right?
Just left, I think. Yeah. So Vidic was never a player I really owned in fantasy, though. I mean, he's the classic. A classic fantasy player, a center back for a very good team who doesn't quite score enough goals to really own consistently, right? I think Diaz is maybe the player right now who fills this role, right?
Yeah.
Who's sort of,
of who's the French center back at Manchester United right now? The tall guy next to the short guy. I can't. We're so out of practice with.
Varane, you mean, or well, Varane's not French. Varane is.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Move on.
yeah,
Pass.
yeah.
Pass. They exist. There are plenty of center backs in the Premier League that are just not your first pick
Yeah.
in fantasy because they don't do anything. You have to be priced like Sven Botman to be considered.
I cannot believe he came in at 4.5. I mean, just for sheer levels of ownership alone. I mean, they don't have an incredible start to the season, but I do feel like John Havlicek. Right, I forgot Daddy Bot. I forgot about John Havlicek. If anyone has any other suggestions for great number 17s, please
Doesn't
let
matter
us know.
what the sport.
Doesn't matter what the sport is, exactly. So we've got Puppies Cisse. That's the final card in my
Mr.
pack.
Banana Goal
Banana
himself.
Goal is exactly what I think of too. Is the classic Cisse. Scored, I believe, in an away match at Chelsea.
Yes.
Was when he scored the classic banana goals. Let me hold the card up here.
I was just listening to a podcast featuring Peter Crouch where he was talking about the goal he scored against City, I think it was, for Stoke when it was that incredible, like, weird half volley sort of a thing from way out.
Yeah.
And he thought in his mind, I've just scored the goal of the season.
Yeah.
And then Papi Cisse comes out of nowhere and scores the banana goal.
Yep.
And it just wipes out every other best goal of the season opportunity. So poor Peter Crouch. Peter Crouch, you've probably overachieved in your life. Papi Cisse, I feel strongly that we, as a Premier League viewing public, did not see enough of Papi Cisse. He was so fun. One of those great players where you just genuinely never quite knew what he was going to come up with. Magical player. Magisterial.
Wow. You really love Papi
I love
Cisse.
him.
I didn't even like him that much. Wow, that's like you really sold him.
How
Okay.
could you?
Yeah.
I remember actually seeing that goal in, I'm not going to remember the name of the bar in the West Village on Carmine Street. Somebody might, if somebody's from New York, they'd know it's closed now.
Yeah.
I went there at lunchtime when I worked at Penguin with my friend Daniel. You know Daniel.
Yeah.
And he had captained Papi Cisse that game week.
Yeah.
And so you can imagine.
I'm not texting while you're talking about them. I'm posting to Threads. Are people using Threads yet? I don't know. We got 43 viewers right now on our first ever live stream here. I'm curious. Like I don't know about you. I created a Threads account, and then I've been in there like once.
Oh yeah.
I'm a little confused.
One must plant their flag on Threads like you've landed on the moon, and
Exactly.
much like
you gotta claim that you gotta claim that account name, right? And
But
then
you're
you
not.
get
It's
out
not
of
that
there
we're
for a while.
ever going back to the moon. Nobody is saying let's go back to the moon. But there you are.
All right, let's open up your card.
All right,
Jack.
so
Let's
I've
open
got
your
my
card.
magic pack right here. I'm gonna just like rub it on my head.
Yeah, you got your Dos Sarah hat on there.
There, yeah,
That's very
those
nice.
are Sarah. Go, come on,
When
come on,
is the
Jamaica.
Gold Cup semis are?
U.S. plays
night?
tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mexico is playing right now. I think Costa Rica. I'm not sure if they're playing each other. This is a very satisfying tear.
That's what I was telling you. You
Yeah.
get that foil. You know, it feels good.
Okay, Let's see. Like Mishu, I don't know how I can compete
It's gonna
with
be
that.
hard to top Mishu. That's true.
Okay. All right. I've got my. Okay. I got a foil.
Okay. Yeah. All right. You got a foil. Let's see the foil one first.
All right. I see.
Can't see.
It is an Arsenal player and
Flamini.
Flamini.
Why is he a foil?
Matthew Flamini with a foil, 5 million, which is actually a value if we're talking FPL prices.
Yes. So.
What
You
is-
would never own Flamini.
The first thing I think of when I think of Matthew Flamini is that picture of him
Yeah.
on his bicycle wearing an oversized windbreaker with a bunch of plastic bags on his bicycle handles, and he's done his grocery shopping.
I've never seen that.
Just a total
Yeah.
workman-like player. I mean, I don't have no beef with Flamini.
Sure.
He's like a classic sort of engine room sort of guy. All right, let's go.
Engine room. I love you and I. What did you say earlier, Brandon? You slip in more Britishisms than I do. I try to keep. I am an American, and I try to. I have to own that. But you kind of wish you were English, right? You sort of. Do you? I mean, I know you're born in Michigan like me, but you sort of wish you were born in like Portsmouth, don't you? Like, you wish like when someone asked you where you were born, you said like Pompey.
Sure,
Right? You were able to say that.
sure. I wish I was born on a literal dock in a shipyard somewhere. All right, let's go. Let's go through the Flamini stats. These are some juicy stats here. Speed. Any guesses?
Yeah.
On a scale of 1 to 100.
Let's guess 50.
67.
Well, it's high, speedier than I would have expected.
Tackle, which is what he's most known for, I
Like I'll say
suppose.
73.
You're close. 74.
Wow,
Another
that's very
shortstop.
close, yeah.
Power is 73.
That seems a little high.
Flamini's shoot is 59. Very poor shoot from Flamini. Skill 60 and pass #nice 69.
All right, there you go. Oh, you know why he's foil? Because he was a star signing 10 years ago. Arsenal cycled through so many defensive midfielders as they tried to find anyone who could play. And now, I mean, I hope that Declan Rice does it. You know,
All right.
Let's see what happens.
Andrew Brown in the chat says we are Pompey, so
Yeah,
let's
of
hear it.
course.
For,
Well, hey, shout out to Luke Moore. You know, the old
Sure, Ian
football,
Dark.
football ramble.
Yeah.
Oh, Ian Dark too. Okay, there you go. Yeah.
I love this next card.
All right, I'm ready for it. Let's see it.
And this guy is, I think we were kind of putting McAllister in this category on this week's pod, where like, this guy's an inspiration. Like anybody who has like a beet red face, like, who kind of like looks deceptively unathletic, even though they're one of the best athletes in the world.
Yeah.
And that is this guy. This season, 13-14, playing for Hull City, it is Tom Huddleston.
Stones. Tom Huddleston. Oh yeah, I mean this guy is a legend. 5 million is the exact right. I don't even know how to play this version of the Sox game.
I got the deep lying midfielder apparently. Flamini.
I hope everyone in your cards. I hope you've got like. I hope Charlie Adam is coming up here in a second.
Well, I mean, speaking of Charlie Adams, Tom Huddleston, a more impressive shoot stat.
Yeah.
Any guesses?
Huddleston shoot stat. I'm gonna say. I mean, you said it was impressive, so I guess I'm gonna say like 79.
71. Not that impressive.
Okay, not that impressive. Lower than Flamini.
Yeah. But anyway, Tom Huddleston, I think his probably best moments were playing for Spurs, but then he went to Hull to basically reinvent his career.
He like helped bring Hull up maybe twice in the last 10 years, right? Hull have been up twice, haven't they?
But has he held? I don't know how long Huddleston was even at Hull City. Was it just that one season where they actually got relegated?
You keep talking, and I'm gonna Google.
Or somebody in the chat can get at us. But Huddleston, while we respect him, I'm not sure his career at Hull, to my memory, was all that impressive.
Google asked if I want to look up Tom Hiddleston, the Loki actor.
Sorry, no, thank you.
No, exactly.
Yeah, let's see. I'm going to look at the chat here.
I forgot about Keith Hernandez. Is a great 17. Keith Hernandez is a great 17 for sure.
Dave, Big Poppy, Poppy Cisse, much respect, so much love for Poppy Cisse.
Big Poppy was number 17. David Ortiz. I did not realize that.
Oh,
or was he talking about Poppy's? I don't know. Whatever. Well, we need more 17s. John Havlicek. Okay, I forgot about Havlicek too.
Mannon, 13-14 Mishu. Streets won't forget. That's absolutely correct.
All right, let's see who you got next. I'll look up these Huddleston stats still.
Okay.
Huddlestone stats.
All right, everybody. I will say our concurrent viewers right now. Total viewers 52. We're gonna go higher.
It's the first one. It's also It's like 2 a.m. in the UK. You know, it's FPL after dark, man. It's a new It's a new era. We want some FPL USA folks to
Yeah.
maybe join in too.
You think that this is a dalliance, us being on YouTube, and this next card actually proves that it's cosmic, that we're here right now.
Okay, let's see it.
This is live,
Let's
July 8th. We're recording this 8:54 p.m. What happened? What was the biggest news in the Premier League today?
Today?
Yeah.
David De Gea.
Here we are,
Oh.
David De Gea. We've got the big man in between the sticks for Manchester United.
Wow.
He's rated more highly cash-wise at $6 million than Huddleston and Flamini.
He was at the vintage price. There are the $6 million Man United defenders there.
No shoot score on David De Gea.
That seems unfair. Although, I mean, De Gea, it's sad to see him go, but I think he's part of the classic. I mean, this is like something that Jonathan
Wilson?
Jonathan Wilson, thank you. Yeah, Jonathan Wilson talks about a lot, which is the kind of, he's an old school style of keeper, right? He's a great shot stopper, but he does not come out of it. He's not an 11th player on the team, right?
Yes.
He's more like, he's actually closer in some ways to, who was that Sunderland keeper who then played for Liverpool for a few years? Mignolet. In some ways, he's more. He's like
Mignolet.
He's like a souped up Mignolet, right? Because like when you compare him to someone like Allison or Ederson, like those, and I don't mean any disrespect to De Gea. He's a great player, but they're not really in the same category, right? Allison and Ederson are very different in terms of what they're doing with the position.
Definitely, yeah. The versatility of being able to play out from the back, play short, play long, that's something that Allison and Ederson do very well, but all of the supercuts making the rounds today of great De Gea saves are stunning. Like I really enjoy watching David De Gea. Like, it's not fun to. I mean, if you're really tactically astute, it can be fun to watch goalkeepers play out of the back.
Which I am. You're not, but for me, it's
I'm just a dumb guy who wants to see a guy doing a frog leap to make a spectacular save, and I think that's awesome. I remember this to me is the most emblematic fantasy story one could tell. So we are at just a few blocks from where we are now in Brooklyn at the Black Horse. Always Cheating headquarters. I was sat right next to you watching Arsenal play Manchester United, and I had David De Gea in goal in my fantasy team. There was a stranger on my left, and as we're watching the game, this was the game that many people remember where De Gea made like 25 saves, something insane like this.
Yes.
And it was an electric game. It was a really fun game to watch, and I am just jumping up and down. And the stranger to my left,
who ended up being an author, right?
He the 101 clubs from Norton.
I have that book over here somewhere.
I can't remember his name. So he turns to me and he just says, "What in God's name are you rooting for?" Because the way I was cheering along to the game just made no sense to somebody who he actually turned out he was a Manchester United fan.
It was Luke Dempsey,
right?
Luke author of Club Soccer 101, which is a good read. This is a fun book. We'll give him a free shout.
Free plug, Luke. And that actually comes into the end of the story where I immediately become defensive because we're all just there trying to enjoy games however you can, whether it's through fantasy or you're like a diehard supporter. Luke turned out to be a huge Manchester United supporter. He was not enjoying this game because Arsenal was pressing the attack the entire time, and there I am cheering for saves, and he was so confused. And when I was too ashamed to tell him when he asked what I was rooting for that I was rooting for my fantasy team. So I just said football.
Which is worse. It's actually worse because the idea that you would sit in a bar in like the afternoon rooting for like sportsmanship or something is infinitely worse. I mean, because this comes up a lot. This is a problem that Americans. I actually think this is an international problem. I think in the UK you have to deal with this as well because in the UK. You and I know. I mean, your wife is British by birth and grew up there for I don't know when she came to the States. She was like
8 years.
8 years. Okay. So, but like her parents, her father's British, and so we know enough to know that like loving football is not an international or it's not a
It's very
in
tribal. It's very
yeah,
passionate.
exactly.
It's like it's church to
Yeah,
many
to
people.
love,
Yeah.
but to love NFL in America doesn't really say anything about it, right? You can be a billionaire, or you could be whatever, it's something
Yeah,
like
loving
the other end
loving
of the
the
spectrum.
yeah
Yeah.
loving the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is basically saying I have an iPhone instead
Yeah.
of a like a Google Pixel or something
Exactly,
like that.
exactly. So, but loving, but I know in England, there's some class stuff
Sure.
built into it. But in America, so it's like being a Premier League fan is one thing, but having have a fantasy Premier League, not only to care enough about it that
Yeah.
you actually like would talk to a stranger about it. But then to care enough about it that you create a twice weekly, right? If you include Patreon,
Yeah.
a twice weekly podcast where you talk about really. It's very hard to explain that to somebody.
It
you
really
know?
is.
Yeah, it is.
It
Yeah,
really
yeah.
is. So the look of disgust on his face that said everything.
You should have said you were like a Man United fan. And just,
So, but
Yeah.
after the game was finished, I actually started talking to him, and he started talking about. I shared that I worked in book publishing.
Yeah.
It's secret to all of you people watching YouTube live.
Just pretend you work in book publishing. It's a great
Yeah.
way out of a conversation.
Yeah, just pretend you're cultured.
Yeah.
And it turned out he also worked in books, and he had published
Yeah.
this book, and I
Yeah.
knew
Good read.
I knew that, and we actually ended up having a great conversation, wide ranging, and
Yeah.
yet another reason why sports are great.
All right,
And
you
bring,
still
bring
got
people.
cards
I
left
got
here.
two more
Let's
cards.
see what you got.
David De Gea in my pack and Mishu in yours.
Yeah,
We'll do
We're
this
doing-
again
I feel like
sometime.
we're doing pretty good. Yeah, it was just that Southampton defender. That was the only one we struggled with. So
Okay, you thought we were cooking with gas then.
let's see what we got.
Oh man, we're really cooking with gas right now. I'll just say it
Let's see
right
what we
now.
got.
Shoot is 83. Any guesses based on shoot 83?
I mean, is he a forward or a midfielder?
Andrew
Give me-
Brown says Suarez.
It's gotta
I
be higher than that.
I'm
right?
I'm overselling this. It's Alvaro Negredo.
Wow, Negredo still plays. I saw him. I think he plays for a Spanish club now. He maybe plays for. It's one of these like Real Sociedad kind of clubs.
Gennaro or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he plays
Slash
for
generic.
Yeah, exactly. So Alvaro Negredo is he was basically, we'll hold the card up here again. He was basically a backup forward for Manchester United.
Yep.
I thought he was.
He was the Alvarez of the day.
Yeah, extremely handsome. I would say. I was.
And this beautiful rosary
fella.
bead tattoo on his
Yeah,
forearm.
yeah, big fan of Negredo, and 83 shoot, 75 skill. I feel like skill is too all-encompassing. I feel like that shouldn't be on here. Should change that to something more useful. 37 tackles. He's a forward, right? Forwards can't tackle.
Yeah, forward tackles like a forward. That's what they say.
Yeah. 83 shoot though. I mean, I feel like if you're an 83 shoot, that's like he should have stuck around in the Premier League longer than like 2 years. I feel like if you're 83 shoot, you should go to, I don't know. I always pick Everton. It's probably unfair that I'm always like, you should go to Everton. It's like
They're always looking
they're
for
always
hungry
looking-
people
always
at
looking for
Everton.
players.
You know what they say? Hungry dogs hunt. So that's and we love you, Alvaro Negredo. Like
Yeah.
everyone, like Alvarez and Dzeko before him.
Sure.
We
Yeah.
all had Navarro at some point and captained him
I think
during
he was
some rank.
8.5 is a classic price there. Someone was asking about De Gea. Just to go back to Julio Pena asked about interest in Man United keeper. I mean, so they have Dean Henderson in the books now. There must be someone new.
Onana.
Onana. That's
Yeah,
the
from
one
Inter Milan.
okay, so he's already signed, or is that
He's like deep in talks.
Fab Romano.
Fab is.
He's already got him in the mock-up,
Photoshopped, yeah.
kit. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Okay. All right, let's see who your final card is here.
Final card is, and listen, they can't all be winners,
Yeah.
but we had some.
Do you know who this player is?
I do know who this player is. So
Okay.
unlike
do you think I know who this is?
you 100% know who this player is.
All right.
And this player has an Arsenal connection.
Okay.
But this season, this Arsenal player was playing for Liverpool.
This current season.
No, in
This
the
year.
13-14
I see.
season.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, and their brother we were actually talking about earlier,
Wow.
and it is Mr.
Colo
Torre.
Mr. Shower. Remember that thing of him in the shower? He got like canceled. It was kind of pre-cancellation. I feel like.
Skill, Yaya Colo Torre, 40.
40
That is a
That's rough.
straight diss on my man Colo.
50 should be the minimum. 40
But
skill is
I
tougher.
do like the photo on the Colo card is he's kind of like almost spread eagle. He's just very, very, very alpha. Very alpha.
You're right. He's got a great stance. He's a split step in tennis. You know, he's got a great form there.
I thought they were dissing Colo with the 40 skill. His shoot is 18. It's quite low.
That seems low. That's too low. I feel like, I mean, a center back doesn't shoot that much, so that basically means even when he shoots, it's disastrous, which I feel like is a little strong.
Vidic was the center back you
Yeah,
had.
yeah,
I feel like name a less ownable player, a less ownable center back than Vidic. It's got to be Colo.
Vidic's shoot was 20, which is still higher than Colo.
It's better.
All right, let's do. Where are we at? We're at 9:05 here. It's getting very late in the UK. Let's do one more pack.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Let's do a lightning round pack opening here.
Have
I love
we ever
it.
lightning round in our lives though?
We can try.
We're going as long as the rosé lasts, Brandon. Let's keep this thing going.
Yeah. And if there are any Scotch there in the chat listening, Josh and I got sold hard.
Yeah, we got guilted into buying 2 bottles of Scotch tonight because the salesman at the wine shop was so compelling that I could not imagine. Even though I was broke, like dead broke, I think I would have bought a bottle of Scotch because I felt so guilty because he was such a good salesman. I had to buy something from him.
Yeah, Andrew is a whiskey man. He's not going north of the border. So fair play to you.
All right.
What about bourbon, Andrew?
We got our new pack here. Okay, ready?
Yep.
Yeah, bourbon, whiskey, Scotch. I like it all.
It's all it's all good.
Okay. Here is who I've got first. I have Ondrage Celeste. Ondrage Celestka. I cannot even pronounce it. You try. You try to pronounce it.
Okay, here we go. Ondrage Salustka.
Wow.
Saluska.
It's no wonder that Southampton, this is Sunderland. That Sunderland got relegated.
Here's what I don't like about these cards is they don't respect nations, and there's no mention of nationality. One of the things we love about the Premier League is the international league.
Let's look up. Okay, what do you think Ondrej Shales? I think he's. Guess would be that he's from.
He's Russian or from some sort of Eastern Bloc.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe like Croatia, right? Let's look up Ondrej. Celestruka, I don't know, whatever.
Okay, yeah, Dave, hearkening back to the story I was telling about I'm rooting for football, tell the guy who wrote the book on clubs you're football agnostic is chef's kiss.
He's Czech. Okay, there you go. Czech. He played, did he even play minutes for...
Give us appearances.
He played. Well, I can't
There's a loan player.
He's got a card. He played 21 matches on loan for Sunderland in the 2013. I feel like this guy shouldn't even get a card. He's rated at 4.5, 39 shoots.
Put him in the burn bag.
All right, he's in the burn bag. Let's keep going here. Let's find somebody better than that.
First official burn bag entry.
I don't have a special one in my deck. Okay, who do we got next? We got Diego Lugano. West Brom. Wow.
Brother.
Wow. I'm glad we didn't start with this deck, Brandon.
You've got to be you've got to be an Irishman to get any recognition from that West Brom team, as far as
was that the year when they had? Remember they had a couple like Egyptian players, and it was like there was some great story about West Brom, and it was like they were scouting one Egyptian center back, and he wasn't available, and the manager of the Egyptian national team was like, oh, we've got another guy who you can have.
Jesus.
And they were like, oh, sure. We'll just give us an Egyptian center back, please. Like, whoever's available, we'll take him.
I mean, economy of scale is a real thing.
Yeah, exactly. So the West Brom Classic, I mean, it's a little bit like, I mean, this year we have Sheffield United coming back up. We've got Burnley coming back up. A little bit of a yo-yo club, I would say. Sure. I mean, West Brom was kicking around for a long time. But sort of
they were, and they've not done terribly in the championship since getting relegated.
Yeah.
So they're run decently.
Yeah,
not
I
horribly.
respect. I mean, West Bromwich Albion is one of the great British names.
Wonderful stuff.
I really like that.
Yeah.
All right, let's see if we can get
one of the weirder birds.
Yeah.
To appear.
Ooh, I remember this guy. Okay, next we have Nathan Dyer.
Oh yeah.
Nathan Dyer. Let me hold this card.
Didn't he
here.
almost score a hat trick in the League Cup final and he did some dirty deeds.
I remember he had the kind of He had the braids. I remember that was
Yeah,
like part of his game, or part of his style.
Quintessential player where he wasn't the star of the team, yet he was always good for some attacking output.
And kicked around for a long time. He had multiple cups of coffee in the Premier League. Give me Brandon. 74 shoots, 77 skill. The idea that he's 77 skill when Colo Torre was like 48 skill, that feels a
40,
little
straight 40.
Yeah, do we really think that Nathan Dyer was twice as skilled as Colo Torre?
I do.
You think he's
100%. Because he can actually carry the ball.
Center backs get no respect.
Nathan Dyer had some degree of pace, and he could carry the ball. Colo Torre's not doing that.
Colo Torre is a brilliant man and player.
Geez.
I love even if he was canceled.
Colo Torre fan club in the house.
Yeah, big fan over here. Okay, so Nathan Dyer. God, I just really want Swansea to come back. Swansea was kind of my second club for a long
Wrexham
time.
might be back before Swansea. The way it's going.
And maybe can you imagine if Wrexham actually comes all the way out? Like
that would be wild.
It's like 10,000 people that live in that town. Like it'd be pretty awesome if that actually happens.
Yep.
Oh wow. Okay, the next one is a real. Does this guy play for Fulham now?
No.
Okay.
Paulinho does, and he's Portuguese.
Yeah. Okay. Paulinho. Do you remember Paulinho? Paulinho, 7 million midfielder for Spurs. Never really got cooking at Spurs.
Never.
Did he? Never.
This is what I was saying about the James Madison transfer. Is Spurs after they sold Gareth Bale tried to be uber continental.
Yeah.
I mean, Paulinho is a South American player.
Yeah.
But I feel like I can't remember where he went after Spurs, but he continued on his career and actually did play well. Played for Brazil as well, and scored goals. It was like a classic situation where if all you knew of Paulinho was his time at Spurs, you would not rate him. And
Brazilian,
of
course.
He's probably all right. If anybody has an opinion, put it in the chat.
Played for Corinthians.
Lucas Moura
Spurs
versus Paulinho.
Yeah, that's right. No, that's how we know him, because he played for Barcelona. Remember, from 17, he had this like run where he went from Spurs to Barcelona, and he was briefly awesome for Barcelona. And
much like Alex Song.
Yeah, it's all Song. Well, I don't think Song ever really clicked with Barcelona. But Paulinho, he had 34 matches, 9 goals in 34, whereas he had 6 and 45 with Spurs. So, but he actually got 56 caps with Brazil. Way more caps than I would have expected.
Dave in the chat makes a fair point. Lucas Moura will always have the Champions League when he scored that game winner against Ajax.
Well, it wasn't a game winner. It was it was extraordinary.
Yeah,
it was a hat. And that was with.
I think the more important thing was that he won the tie.
But I just mean, like, Son and Kane didn't play, and he scored a hat trick on the road at Ajax. Like, that is an incredible accomplishment. It really is amazing.
Yes.
All right, so we got the final one here is Antonio Luna, a defender for Aston Villa.
Not a fan of this pack, Josh. I got to be honest with you.
It's one of the weaker packs. Of the 3, this is my least favorite so far. But I will hold up the Luna card for any Villa supporters out there who are watching or listening. He is 54 skill. So again, he's 14 more skilled than Colo Torre.
I want to take a vote. I want to take a vote for everybody watching live in the chat. Who is your favorite card from this pack? We've got
deck.
Luna from Aston Villa. We've got the Croatian.
Spell it as well as you can.
Just say Croatian guy is fine. Yeah. Lugano from West Brom, Nathan Dyer, or Paulinho.
Yeah, I gotta go with Nathan Dyer. Nate Dyer. I feel like we called him Nate.
Yeah, Nate the Great.
Yeah.
Nate the Great.
Yeah.
Oh, Tim's going Torre.
Yeah, exactly. Go back to Torre. Back to
the other pack. Tim is so disgusted by your pack.
Get out of that pack.
All right, final pack of the show.
Let's see how this one goes. If this is a weak pack, then we're gonna do one more.
All right, this is FPL After Dark with Always Cheating. I feel like I have to do like a studio check. Do we have to say the frequency of the radio station?
No, I think you're good. I think you can just keep going here.
But I hope everyone's having fun. Tell your friends. The idea of FPL After Dark is there is not a real concrete idea. It's like hopefully we're having fun.
TBD.
TBD.
You know? Yeah, it's very meta. Let's just keep going here. Let's see what you got in this deck.
All right, we've got our 4th pack. Cracking it open, much like a magician. We're not waiting packs at all. It's a real pack being opened. Oh my God! First card. I have memories. I have memories of this
Okay.
man. And every time I made a football memory with this player, I felt like I would probably prefer the pub memory I would make with this guy.
Okay.
And it is Kevin Nolan from West Ham.
Oh, Strolling Nolan.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Andrew's still hoping for Luis Suarez. We'll see if we can get it to happen. But Kevin Nolan, you see him now haunting the side touchlines of West. Is he part of the coaching staff at West Ham now? I
I
feel
think
like
he is.
he's
Yeah.
looking a little bloated, but he would pal around with Andy Carroll if I remember because they did their thing at Newcastle,
Yep.
and then Andy Carroll went to Liverpool and was a flop, and Kevin Nolan went to West Ham and just continued to Kevin Nolan his way around the world. So bless you, Kevin Nolan. I'm sure I had you in my fantasy team at least 2 weeks
I feel like
minimum.
wasn't he one of these guys that came up and he was like already 32? You know, it's like this happens a lot where you have the
Well,
promoted, the
yeah.
kind of talismanic promoted guy who
I think he
was
went
great in the
yeah.
championship.
I think he went through the ringer
Yeah.
with Newcastle where they got relegated and then came
Yeah.
back up. Andy Carroll's mentor, as JJJ80 says, Andy even lived at Nolan's home.
Wow. Okay. Wow.
There's an
Want to
architectural
talk?
digest
Yeah, give me a doc.
inside
Yeah.
my home tour.
Yeah.
Okay, so many of you thought this was the guy when you held up Vidic's card. Everyone thought,
Yeah.
oh, maybe that's Thomas Vermaelen.
One of many players who cycled through the captaincy late. Like I feel like he was briefly a captain during the Arsene Wenger selling all his players era.
Did Arsene he rotated the armband weekly during that
It was
era?
he couldn't quite find he couldn't settle on anybody. Remember he
Yeah.
gave the armband to Van Persie.
Could it be because Arsene
Around that
Wenger
time.
didn't really have a personality to?
You don't think he? Oh, I mean, even on the club.
Well,
Like, yeah.
okay, and I don't want to go down this road. Obviously,
Yeah.
Wenger had a huge impact on football and the Premier League,
Sure.
etc. But during the waning days, the issue at that club was he couldn't really make a decision.
Right. Right.
or,
right.
or effect a decision.
Yep.
And the rotation of that armband seemed emblematic of there's no direction at
Yeah.
this time.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like it was probably the dark. And unfortunately, this is when I was really at my most kind of peak Arsenal supporter. At some point, we're our 400th episode of the podcast is going to get recorded next week, and I think we've done so much fantasy stuff. It's kind of it's actually affected my club relationship, But I also think the older I get, the harder it is for me to really I mean, I feel this way about Michigan State sports, where I'm still
Yeah.
incredibly hardcore about it. It kind of doesn't matter who the manager is, who the players are.
Sure, your
And so
heart is
yeah.
in it regardless.
Yeah.
You've got to be with it thick and thin.
Exactly. I mean, you're rooting for laundry, as Jerry Seinfeld once said, right?
You-
It's yeah.
You know that Mitchell and Webb skit where it's like two dudes working in the office and the Jez from Peep Show. I can't remember
Sure, yeah.
if he's Mitchell or Webb.
Yeah.
Webb. He comes in. Jeremy Webb. That's
Yeah.
right. We had a great game this weekend, and David Mitchell is like, "What do you mean we did? Were you out there on the pitch? Were you wearing the uniform?"
Yeah. I say we. I'm a we guy. Yeah, but I think that.
You are a we guy.
I'm a we guy. Yeah, we sports and we the team. I mean, any we.
But this was this was actually Vermaelen. It was part of that era of Arsenal where they really could have. I mean, they frankly could have won the league with Van Persie, and
Yeah.
they had that famous match against Birmingham where they just
Yeah.
kind of blew it.
I think by 13-14, it was kind of over. I think it was really 11-12 when that was still a viable thing. All right,
Yeah.
let's see who else you got there.
All right, I've got 3 cards here, and the first appearance from Man on the Box. So we've already seen this
Ooh.
man. He was on the box. He plays for Chelsea, and it is another Brazilian player, Oscar.
This guy stunk. It never worked out for Oscar is it Oscar, whatever.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I never cared for him.
That's why you didn't get foil.
Yeah,
no
he
foil.
didn't get a foil. He never clicked, I felt like, at Chelsea. He had moments, intermittent little things here and there. Very talented, clearly. Another guy who probably had about 50 caps for Brazil, but I feel like it never really clicked for him.
My
at
biggest
Chelsea.
memory of Oscar, Tim says, never smiled. He did.
Never smiled.
I actually hate Oscar for one reason, and
Yeah.
it is because of that 7-1 drubbing that Germany gave to Brazil in
Yeah.
the World Cup.
Yeah.
And everyone watching that match, if you weren't Brazilian, you're like, this is kind of insane and amazing, and I can't believe I'm watching this. And everyone was just kind of rooting for the pain to be poured on. And then right at I think it was near the start of the second half, Oscar comes out and scores a goal for Brazil. And I'm kind of like, well, this doesn't feel quite right.
Okay, how many, try to guess how many caps Oscar had for Brazil. Okay, let me I'm going to look at this as we're talking.
Good question. Yeah. 50 sounds about right. And it's kind of
50.
It's kind of like, is it higher? Is it 60 or is it 30, 38?
Yeah.
I'm going to go 42.
Okay, 42. Oscar had 48. Pretty close. And I said 50. So
how many goals?
He had 12 goals and 48 caps.
Yeah.
I feel like that should probably be higher though, right? Because those caps include friendlies, and friendlies are designed for internationally capped players to absolutely drive up their number of goals.
You're really a anti-Oscar campaign. Well, listen, 12 goals for Brazil. We know one of the stories, as we just told.
Yeah.
What are the other 11 stories? Save it for later. Thank you, Oscar. We all had Oscar in our fantasy team at some point.
He was always around 7'5", in the great range there.
Okay, how could you get a worse center back? I think this guy's a midfielder. Okay, this guy just looks like a center back. Peter Whittingham for Cardiff.
Wow.
The famous season where Cardiff had to play in red kits.
Because of their Malaysian manager, right?
It was a lucky color. Peter Whittingham looks absolutely miserable.
They're like the
in this
Blues
photo.
or something, right?
Yeah, the Bluebirds, the Blue Jays or something. Skill 69, that says it all right there for Mr. Whittingham. Thanks for the memories. And Andrew's still going about Torre. Joe Bennett is the final card, and there's really no preamble there because Joe Bennett.
We need one more deck here. Okay.
All right, this is the lucky pack. The lucky pack. Joe, you're going in the burn bag.
Yeah, we're at 4. We're at 4 packs here. We're gonna open up one final pack. And again, for anybody who joined late, this is the Topps Match Attax 2013-2014. We got a whole box of these, Brendan. We opened 5. We opened 5 of 50.
We could be.
We should mention that this is very late for us to mention this, but thanks to the Hub, who Fantasy Football Hub, who is a sponsor for us in this preseason content, and it's a great source of all kinds of content. Some of the best voices, I feel like. Really,
and I think just to tie it into what we're doing here with the cards is what we need as fantasy managers is historical data, particularly going into game week 1, because we don't know what's going to happen this season. We're looking at old cards from old players. Hub is going to be able to serve you Opta stats from seasons past to give you insight, and it's like stats at this point is a great tiebreaker when you don't know what to do with your team. So we're going to be using Hub ourselves over the next month.
I'm sure they love that we waited 52 minutes into this recording.
We'll cut it out, move it to the beginning. But if you want to get 50% off of your Fantasy Football Hub membership, you get half off, basically.
Wow.
And they have this incredible...
In case somebody doesn't know what 50% means. Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's not 50% more, it's 50% less. You're getting half off. Go to fantasyfootballhub.co.uk/always, and that's the page where you can get that 50% off code. Join us in using that site. All right, what do you got in the pack?
I got a star player to kick things off here, Brendan.
Foil!
This guy has a foil card, star player, and of course, this is the legend himself, Robert Corrin. Robert Corrin, his star player, who I genuinely don't remember. Do you remember Robert Corrin? He was a Hull City Tiger, Brandon. He is 5 million. Why is he a star player? I'm confused. 70 skill, 30 more than Colatore.
I'm sorry.
73 shoot, 74 pass.
Put this card away.
Robin.
We have a comment from Sean Murphy who says Whittingham died in a tragic accident in 2021, but he was still a crap player.
Wow.
So, to the Whittingham family and to Whittingham himself and to the Topps Cards manufacturers, we didn't know.
And also, I like this question from Andrew. It says, did Hub pay you? And the promo should have been earlier. And the answer is yes. And it should have been earlier. So we'll be sending some delicately worded emails shortly after the recording.
And Andrew, if you're interested in a YouTube live production gig, our doors are open.
And also, I mean, everyone's sticking around for this Robert Corrin reveal. Robert Corrin, it doesn't even ring a bell for me. I feel like if someone's getting a foil star player, thing. I mean, I hate to keep going to the Wikipedia well here, Brandon, but I mean,
Robert Corrin sounds like I don't know, an actor. He sounds more like an actor.
I feel like Robert Corrin sounds Austrian to me, and
no, he sounds like he's from the UK.
Does anyone listening remember Robert Corrin? That name does not ring a bell to me at all. He's a Slovenian player, of course, great in the Slovenian national team.
Let me see this card.
Let's see. He had 61 caps for Slovenia. Played for West Brom he had 126 appearances for West Brom, and then 143 for Hull, and then maybe most famously, Brendan, he played for Melbourne City in the A-League.
All right.
From 2014.
What do you think about that, Timbo?
Yeah. Yes.
Do you know? You have any thoughts on this star player?
Yeah, exactly. So congrats to Robert Corrin. Let's see who we got next year. Oh, okay. Here we go. This guy should have gotten the star player designation. This is Samir Nasri, Brandon. Samir Nasri. The snake himself, the Arsenal. I don't know why. It's so funny how some players leave clubs and everyone's okay with it. Other players leave and everybody hates them. And Nasri was like that. I remember Nasri famously ducked on a free kick. Remember this?
Yeah.
And everyone, like, his cowardice was legendary.
If you joined the army and he was assigned to your platoon, you'd be like, well, I'm dead.
Yeah, I feel like Nasri is kind of, I mean, I think ultimately Mahrez has been better than Nasri, but Mahrez is kind of in that category where it's a player who cut his teeth at a kind of different club, right? I mean, to this day, maybe, I mean, I don't know. It's obviously hard because he's still like playing live, but it feels like Mahrez will, like, his legendary moments were for Leicester City, right? And so I feel like it's sort of, with Nasri, I mean, he never really did that much. At City, right?
He's one of those players where even Navarro, I have memories of goals that he's scored.
Yeah.
I'm struggling with Nasri. Of course,
ducking on the free kick is what I remember most from his time at
Vichy. He's Vichy France, just like absolute craven.
Exactly.
Yeah, get out of here, burn bag.
Not a big fan. I know we sound very anti-French now, but hey, I love Colatore. He's French. Did he play for the French national team?
Hey, we've got much love for.
He must have played for Ivory Coast, right? He must have.
I don't know, to be honest with you. Yes.
I think he spoke French. Next, we got your boy, Johnny Evans.
All right.
5.5 million.
Northern Ireland, let's go.
Northern Ireland center back. I suppose at this point, probably most famous as a Leicester City center back. Right?
And I do owe Johnny Evans an apology. I feel like upon that move to Leicester, I thought that he was just kind of a Harry Maguire type figure. Mm-hmm. And I do think at Leicester, despite their problems, he has demonstrated a level of core competence that players like Maguire have not.
No, totally. I mean, you see what they've looked like with Wout Weiss and that team. I will never forgive them, Brandon, for that Newcastle match at the end of the season. Everyone thought I was crazy. But my point was they should have tried to win that game.
Oh, yeah, that one. Yeah.
And instead they played for a draw in the hope that Everton would draw with Bournemouth the next game. You've got to play for the win there.
I just think that's a misunderstanding of the tactics. They were not playing for a draw.
Well, then the tactics were shit. Okay, I'm sorry.
The team was shit.
Yeah, all right, fair enough. It's shite, as they say in the UK. All right. Okay, this is a fun one.
Good one.
All right.
Good one.
Okay, next, the penultimate card from tonight's podcast is Nathan Redmond.
Yes.
Well, no, I kind of forget about his Norwich City time, and of course I think of now
Yeah.
as a Southampton
Southampton.
player.
Hmm.
But Nathan Redmond, let's put that card up nice and high for everyone to
I feel like he
see.
had one particular match or a run toward the end of the season where he became a fantasy possibility because he was so cheap. He was
Yeah,
scoring
always
some
has
goals.
his moments. He's a little bit like who's the Palace Andros Townsend.
Hmm.
Where it sort of gets hot occasionally,
Yep.
and you consider. I mean, I never really want to own him in fantasy though. He's at 73 skill, so almost double, almost twice as skilled as Colo Torre. 68
The
shoot.
true benchmark
Yeah,
tonight. Yeah.
66 but 33 defense. That feels quite low to me. 80 speed. I guess he was pretty had some pace and power in his
Uh-huh.
day. 55 power, so above average. So there's Nate Redmond. I like his little look here. He looks like he's actually going bald, and he's like
Let me
spiking
see
his
this.
hair
Let
to
me
look
see
a
this.
little taller. So you can
Yeah.
get that card as close
A
as you
little
can
bit
to
of
the
a
camera
like,
there.
not really a faux hawk, but shaving the front of the head to let the middle of the head soar.
Kind of a Guy Fieri type look, right?
The most memorable Nathan Redmond moment was when Pep Guardiola, I think this is when he was at Southampton, took
Yeah.
him under his wing after the final whistle. And was just sort of like being like, "What did you do over this side of the pitch?" And doing this weird sort of like,
Yeah.
"You should be playing on a better team." I don't know.
That's
And
weird. I know Pep is like the most gracious guy when he wins. When he
Yes.
loses, he's incredibly sour. When he wins, he's the most generous.
He
he's
sure
he's
is.
a mensch.
Yeah.
All right, final card here is. Oh, I remember this guy, Mathieu Debuchy.
Mm-hmm.
Debuchy. This is when he was at Newcastle. He was
Yeah.
a 5
Nouveau
million.
Maison.
Well, this was during the era, right?
Yeah.
The Nouveau Maison era, right? Where Alan Pardew was probably the manager
Alan
back in 14. They almost made the Champions League. I mean, that was the
Yeah,
year
they
when
made.
it was like Everton. Back when Roberto Martinez was the manager
Yes.
there, so like Everton, Spurs, and Newcastle were all fighting for that fourth Champions League spot.
Cotton Ben Arfa.
Yeah, Hatem Ben Arfa.
Johan
Well,
Kadai.
your boy Papi Cisse.
Papi Cisse, Demba Ba.
Yeah, Demba Ba. Who were the guys? Who were the Ramble guys? Loved a couple of those. There were like two guys who were like brothers, I think, who played. There's like a forward on one of those teams.
Vaguely remembering this,
Yeah,
and that's not
yeah.
going to come to me right
Yeah,
now.
I like Sean Murphy. I think this is the reference to Nathan Redmond. It's the Damari Gray of his days. I think that's right.
Yep.
Gray's
think
had his
that's right,
moments.
yeah.
I've owned Gray a few times, fruitfully in fantasy.
Yeah. On his day.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, any huge memories of Debuchy that stick in your mind?
No, although
Be
I
honest.
do remember this haircut, and no, but it reminds me. I really loved that time. I thought that was a cool strategy. This idea that Newcastle was going to find
Play to win.
well, they were going to find young French players who were under the radar, and that was going to kind of be their style. It's a little bit like Wolves with Portuguese players, right? It was, and it almost. I mean, I shouldn't say almost because finishing fifth. I think they made the Europa League that year. Finishing. In any kind of European spot as an accomplishment. Look at Brighton and how cool it was that they finished in a European spot this year. So I think it worked. I mean, the Pardew thing, Pardew would almost get away with it if was it with Palace where he almost beat Arsenal.
He
in
went
an
to the
Cup?
FA Cup final
Yes,
and he
they were
wore
up
the suit, did the
they were
dance.
They were up 2-0,
Yep.
did the dance. They lost 3-2.
Pardew walked so that Eddie Howe could run, and
That's harsh.
I think
Yeah.
that's where we're at. Wow, what a slate of cards. There
That
were
was
some.
fun.
I honestly, there were some better ones in
You
there.
were on
than
the
I
fence
thought.
about this
Yeah,
game, and
yeah.
I knew let's remember some
Yeah.
guys would be a fun little exercise. Well, Brennan, we're 5 in. We got 45 to go, so we're gonna do more YouTube shows. We're not always gonna be let's remember some guys. We're gonna do some fantasy stuff. We're gonna do some team reveals in here as well. This was an attempt for us to just kind of get our feet wet a little bit with YouTube. So we love any feedback though. You can send us an email or write a comment here or message us in the Discord. Obviously, you can go to patreon.com/OSG and support the podcast. We had a few new ones coming just since we released the new podcast yesterday. So thanks to all the new Patreon supporters. Obviously, we're on Twitter and everywhere else as well. So new podcast coming next week. Kind of a funky schedule still until the season starts. I think we have at least 5 new podcasts that we plan to run before the season kicks off. So lots more to come and at least 3 more YouTube shows too. So
Yep.
lots of always cheating content out there.
Yeah. All right. Well, hail cheaters, and good luck with your tinkering. And remember some guys today.
Yeah, I hope I hope this trip down memory lane was solid for everybody. Thanks again for listening, guys, and we'll talk to you soon.